the White Temple, and the Great Ziggurat in the Mesopotamian city of Uruk. The Egyptian pyramids are not the only ancient mystery of the Old World. The ziggurat also sustains a substantial position of wonder. The ancient land of Uruk was once located in southern Mesopotamia, on the Euphrates River, which corresponds to our present-day Warka, in Iraq. It was founded by a king named Enmerkar around 4500 BC, and it was the home of the epic hero King Gilgamesh. By 3200 BC, Uruk was one of the largest cities in the world during its time, with an estimated population of over 40,000 people. Along with a developed agriculture system, the city thrived, and is considered to be the first true city in the world. The city of Uruk was continuously inhabited until around 300 AD, when its citizens started to leave due to both natural and man-made influences. Uruk was left abandoned until William Loftus, working for the British Museum, began excavating and unveiling the ancient city. Under the rulership of Ur-Nammu, who united all the cities of Sumer into a single empire, a new type of building was created for the gods, and this was the beginning of the ziggurat, or temple tower. The Sumerians believed that the gods came from the mountains they could see in the distance, and that was a problem because their land was flat. It is believed that the ziggurats of Uruk were created to imitate mountains so that their gods could dwell in them, and be closer to their city. Because ziggurats were part of the temple complexes, it is believed that they were connected with religious rites. Religion was a very important part of the ancient Mesopotamian culture. In the center of the Sumerian cities, temples of their favorite gods were built. But like many ancient structures, there is a great degree of uncertainty surrounding the reasons behind their construction, or how they were truly intended to be used. The grand construction predating even the oldest of the Egyptian pyramids, the ziggurat, coming from the Assyrian word for raised up or high, was a huge platform with a series of smaller platforms on top. Visually, it resembles a step pyramid, with a flat top. The ziggurat was built with mud bricks since stones were scarce in that region. It had stairs and ramps in some cases, leading upwards to its flat top area where a small temple would be placed. Ziggurats were often expanded in size, and each time a rebuilding work was done, the mud brick walls were knocked down and the remains used as the foundation for the new construction. The White Temple of Uruk, one of the oldest standing ziggurats, supported what came to be known today as the White Temple, which dates from around 3200 to 3000 BC, and it is believed to have been dedicated to the sky god Anu. With its whitewashed mud brick walls, the White Temple would have been an imposing-looking structure. Even with its modest size, with the rectangular surface area of its terrace measuring 45 by 50 meters, the temple would have been visible from far away, even beyond the protective walls of the city. Its corners were oriented by the cardinal points. None of the three entrances of the temple faced the ziggurat ramp directly. In Dr. Center-German's words, regarding the structure of the White Temple, when describing the interior of the White Temple, Dr. German states, "Unfortunately, not many objects have been found inside the temple and, therefore, archaeologists lack clues that could possibly assist in unveiling information about the accurate uses of this building." A last feature described in the reconstruction of the temple was the presence of a system of shallow bitumen coat conduits, which ran from southeast to southwest of the edge of the terrace and entered the temple. Archaeologists are still unsure as of what kind of liquids would have flowed from the terrace to be collected in a pit placed in the center hall of the temple, stated Dr. German. Speculation suggests that it was intended to be used for offerings, but the kind of liquid offering were involved remains a mystery to be discovered. The nurturing goddess Ninsun, worshipped by ancient Mesopotamians and the mother of Gilgamesh, Ninsun, is a female figure found in Sumerian mythology. She is a goddess whose parents are the deities Anu, the sky god, and Uras, a goddess of the earth. As a goddess, Ninsun was worshipped by the ancient Mesopotamians, and had several cult centers in that civilization. Today, however, Ninsun is perhaps best known as the mother of the hero Gilgamesh, the principal hero of the Epic of Gilgamesh, a piece of work commonly regarded as the earliest surviving great work of literature. Connection with cows. The name Ninsun is said to mean Lady Wild Cow. Additionally, she is referred to by a number of other, often bovine-related, names, including the flawless cow, the wild cow of the enclosure, August cow, and the mother of good offspring that loves the offspring. Due to this connection with cows, Ninsun was also attributed with the maternal qualities of this creature. Thus, Ninsun was regarded by the ancient Mesopotamians as a motherly goddess who possessed a tender, loving, nurturing and caring nature. This is perhaps best seen in the Epic of Gilgamesh, where she is not just a mother in symbolic terms, but also an actual mother, i.e. the mother of Gilgamesh. Ninsun in the Epic of Gilgamesh. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the eponymous hero Gilgamesh is described as such: 2/3 of him was divine, and 1/3 mortal. In the epic, it is written that Gilgamesh's father was a king of Uruk by the name of Lugalbanda, whilst, as mentioned before, his mother was the goddess Ninsun, son of Lugalbanda, Gilgamesh, perfect in strength, son of the lofty cow, the wild cow Ninsun. It was from his father that Gilgamesh inherited his mortal nature, whilst from his mother, he gained his divine nature. Ninsun does not really play a major role in the Epic of Gilgamesh. The main character of this piece of literature, after all, is her son, Gilgamesh. Yet, when she does appear in the text, she is depicted as a loving mother who does what she can to assist her son. This can be seen in the interpretation of Gilgamesh's dreams, in which Ninsun plays an important part. In the text, Gilgamesh tells his mother of a dream he had. "Mother, I saw a dream in the night. There were stars in the sky for me. And, something, like a sky bolt of Anu kept falling upon me. I tried to lift it up, but it was too heavy for me. I tried to turn it over, but I couldn't budge it. The country, men, of Uruk were standing over it. The countrymen had gathered over it, the men crowded over it, the young men massed over it, they kissed its feet like very young children. Loved it as a wife, doted on it, I carried it, and laid it at your feet, you treated it as equal to me." Ninsun interpreted her son's dream, which is as follows. It means, a strong partner shall come to you, one who can save the life of a friend, he will be the most powerful in strength of arms in the land. His strength will be as great as that of the sky bolt of Anu. You will love him as a wife, you will dote upon him. And he will always keep you safe. That is the meaning of your dream. Gilgamesh had a second dream, which involved an axe being thrown into the street of Uruk. The interpretation of this dream by Ninsun is the same as Gilgamesh's first dream. Gilgamesh's dream to be fulfilled in the form of Enkidu, the wildman created by the gods to challenge Gilgamesh, but later becomes his close friend and companion. Enkidu would also be treated like her own son by Ninsun, just as indicated by Gilgamesh's dream. Ninsun's main cult center was in the city-state of Lagash. Nevertheless, she was also worshipped in other ancient Mesopotamian cities, including Nippur, and Umma. During the 3rd dynasty of for example, its founder, Namu, built a temple called Emma, meaning magnificent temple, in for this goddess. The great city of Uruk became Sumerian. Powerhouse of technology, architecture and culture home to Gilgamesh, Uruk was the major force of urbanization and state formation during the 4th millennium BC. In Epic of Gilgamesh, the king is said to have built the city's monumental walls. There may be some truth to the legend. These walls, as well as other city structures, were actually unearthed by archaeologists. Where is Uruk? Uruk was one of the most important cities in southern Mesopotamia. This city lies about 241 kilometers, 150 miles, to the south of Baghdad, the present capital of Iraq. In ancient times, Uruk was situated on the eastern banks of a channel of the Euphrates River. Over the millennia, however, the channel dried up, and its course shifted away from the city by about 19 kilometers, 12 miles. A general view of the Uruk archaeological site at al-Warka in Iraq. The ancient city of Uruk is also known in Arabic as Tel al-Warka, and in Aramaic, Hebrew as Erech. The site of Uruk is believed to have been settled as early as the Ubaid period, which lasted from around the 7th to the 4th millennium BC. Although Uruk's history may be traced archaeologically to the 6th millennium BC, and perhaps even further back, the city's rise to prominence occurred only around 3800 BC. As Uruk became the main force of urbanization and state formation, the period that lasted roughly from 3800 to 3200 became known as the Uruk period. The Uruk period is characterized by the formation of the first city-states in Mesopotamia. During the preceding Ubaid period, villages were established in southern Mesopotamia, and these grew into towns. This urbanization continued, with Uruk leading the way. The urbanization of this ancient city is evident in the creation of monumental architecture. For instance, the legendary king Gilgamesh is traditionally credited with the building of the walls of Uruk. These mighty walls were mentioned in the Epic of Gilgamesh, where the hero asks Urshanabi, the Mesopotamian version of the Greek Charon, to inspect them. Parts of the city wall were discovered during excavations of the early 20th century. Other monumental structures at Uruk include the Unu Ziggurat, several other large temples, and administrative buildings. Excavating the Mesopotamian city Uruk has been excavated mainly by German teams, and their work at the site has helped to enhance our understanding of this ancient city. Apart from the city's monumental architecture, other archaeological evidence served to demonstrate Uruk's rise to prominence during the 4th millennium BC. For instance, it was in this city that the earliest evidence of writing, in the form of simple pictograms inscribed on clay tablets, was discovered. Luxury goods from abroad have also been found, indicating that the city had established trade with foreign lands. Moreover, it seems that the rulers of Uruk had pursued an aggressive expansionist policy. Evidence of expansion initially, Uruk's territorial expansion was focused on the southwestern Iranian plains to the east of Mesopotamia. In Susa, a city located about 250 kilometers, 155 miles, to the east of Uruk, for instance, ceramic seals and bully counters were discovered. These objects served an administrative function, and the concept was probably brought there by the people of Uruk. It seems that the Uruk expansion reached further afield as well. For instance, Uruk material culture has been discovered at sites in areas as far as Syria and southeastern Anatolia. The nature of these settlements is still a subject of debate, as various views of such sites have been put forward. Some, for instance, have argued that these were colonies or trade posts set up by the inhabitants of Uruk, whilst others have suggested that these were locals who sought to emulate the culture of Uruk. The fortunes of Uruk fluctuated in the following millennium. At times, Uruk was able to maintain its independence. During other periods, however, the city was subjected to foreign rulers. Uruk continued to be a significant city for the various civilizations that came to rule over Mesopotamia, including the Akkadians, Assyrians, Achaemenids, and Seleucids. The city was eventually abandoned around the 2nd century AD.